Hey, this is Rocket Brain Surgeon, and I'm enjoying the Beaufighter. Since the 1.2 patch, some of the optimal altitudes have been changed around a bit, some of the balance has been changed around a bit. The UK heavy fighter line as a whole has been given buffs across the board, and I didn't like the Beaufighter before, but I've been grinding a bunch of lines, every line in fact, and the Beaufighter has grown on me. It does a lot of things very well. It's like a German heavy fighter, except that it has a little bit less frontal firepower in exchange for a bit more mobility. It's also a tiny bit softer than the heavy fighters, but not soft enough. You can look and see that 400 hit points. It can still take a beating when it needs to. I do run the Beaufighter with gas. I think on its own it's not quite fast enough to escape enemies, and with gas it's only barely enough to achieve escape velocity, even in the horizontal. The frontal firepower is better than I remember it being. The 20mm guns will be effective to about 800 meters, so the 109B in front of me is just outside my effective range. The real story is those 6 machine guns. When they get within 400 meters, the enemy is going to get crushed by those things. The Beaufighter is like the Spitfire in that it's very maneuverable around its axis. You don't have to tip the plane where you're going, but that 109B is just a little bit too agile for me, so I have to pick an easier target. Here we're going to see what I mean by that escape speed. I pitch up and boost, not that fast, but an A6M1 that really wasn't traveling that fast to begin with was able to turn around and get enough guns on me. He wasn't a real threat to me, but higher tiers, for example an A6M5, that would have done significant damage to me. So when you're making your attack run, make sure you keep your speed up so you can get at least 600 meters away before they're able to get their guns on you. Here's a pro tip. That enemy is on the tail of my teammate, so I know that he's going to keep following my teammate, so I roll my plane to the right in anticipation that he's going to follow my teammate. He does exactly what I think he does, and I'm able to keep my guns on him for that entire time, and he's only able to survive just a few seconds. Here's something that you can't really tell from the stats on the plane. It is very good at taking out ground targets. That's another reason why I have the armor-piercing incendiary ammo equipped, is because you can start the ground targets or tougher GA on fire, and when you do another pass, you're still dealing damage to them because they're burning. The Beaufighter does not climb especially well, so getting rid of opponents by going vertical, you can see my speed just dropping like a rock, and I'm not even climbing that steeply. But the plane turns very well for a heavy fighter, and it climbs well enough and it goes fast enough to be part of the conversation. The firepower is going to be the big draw of the plane. Overall, I just enjoy this thing a lot more than I thought I would. It's been a very pleasant grind, and I look forward to the highly regarded Mosquito and Hornet after this. Hope you enjoyed. Happy hunting.